So y'all gonna have to get better with this. I'm gonna say this right now. Ladies gonna have to get better with this. On Mother's Day, they get showered, they get all of this stuff. Father's Day, it's just like a,
I am not going there with you because I'm
you ain't
not.
Gotta wash the dishes tonight. That's what Father's Day is. You ain't got to wash the dishes tonight.
You know what? I'm gonna say to Rihanna. I'm gonna say to Reagan, and I'm gonna say to their mama. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. Great. I ain't going down that doggone hole.
Listen, I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy my time. I mean, listen. Kennedy flew in from Atlanta. Thursday night, she flew in from Atlanta. She had a 7:00 flight. She didn't actually board her flight from Atlanta to Orlando until 1:00 in the morning.
What? But we did see a whole lot of flight cancellations too, man.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, but yeah, no, she made the trip down. My wife, she took good care of me. But I'm just saying in general.
Reason why I'm gonna go out there on the stretch, Greg, because man, my folk doing stuff they don't usually do. Normally they'll go buy me something, and I put that smile on my face. This time they did something totally different.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They gave me cash.
Really?
Really.
Oh, listen, man. Tell them to start that trend.
Hey, I'll frame the card, but I'm going to keep the cash.
I know that's right. Hey, but listen, if you're listening to these two voices right now, you're tuned in to two of the most influential voices in Central Florida on Monday Night Radio. Brother Love and Greg Jackson, the dynamic duo on Let's Talk Nation. If you want to be a part of tonight's conversation, all you have to do is hit 407-894-1680. Once again, to be a part of this conversation, to talk to two of the most influential voices in Central Florida on Monday Night Radio, Brother Love and Greg Jackson. All you got to do to get your IQ up 15 to 20 points tonight, Brother Love, because we got some stuff about tomorrow.
Oh, we got some stuff about tomorrow, but we also, Greg, why don't you tell everybody how they're going to be able to qualify about this heart and soul that's coming up this evening?
No. I said tomorrow.
Okay, now, all right, I'm going with you.
Anyway, so if you want to increase your IQ by 15 to 20 points, all you got to do is tune into the show. Hit 407-894-1680 to be a part of the show. But Brother Love right now, we also want folks to know that they can hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But for right now, Brother Love, let's get it on.
Hey, man, I see Jay Ville is in the house.
All right. That's nice.
See, for those folks who saying, okay, well, Jay Ville, what's so special about Jay Ville? What's so special about Jay Ville?
Listen, that's what the Jackson family roams. That's what
my
Jackson parents are.
Hey, and I like the way your dad did it last week, man. Your dad say, your mama told me to call up and make sure that I got them tickets.
Hey, he better comply.
Hey, but we'll let everybody know about those tickets in a little bit. But you know what? Sensei was here last Monday, and Sensei, every time we talked about this heart and soul, he started putting on them jams, man.
Oh, man, yeah, man. But listen, talking about the jams, what we're talking about right now is on October 8th, 2022, in the great city of Apopka, Florida, we're going to have the Heart and Soul Festival. Our good friend Paul P.A. is going to be bringing this great event to town. Paul P.A. Billings, I'm sorry I didn't say his last name, but he's going to be bringing this great event to town, to the Apopka community. Brother Love, you're going to have folks like who?
Oh, man, we're going to have come on, man, Mr. Big, Mr. Isley brothers.
That's for last, man. That's the headline.
So you want me to work in reverse?
That's
okay.
right.
But I don't even know. Wait, you can't even go to Confunction yet. We got to go to Cut Close.
Yeah, you're right. You got to step your way up.
But when you say Confunction and then you got Howard, which one do you step up first?
You know what, man? I think that more folks are going to be more excited about Howard Hughes, us real music lovers.
Okay.
Folks that's been around that listen to the Al Greens, the Ohio Players.
Now, Howard, you won't like what you're saying. So you're saying that order need to be.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold up. But we also got. How do you do that with Howard Hewitt and Leela James?
Listen, it's the same type of thing, man. But you got Cut Close, you got Confunction, you got Leela James. You got
You know what you're setting up, brother? You know what you're setting up right now?
Up.
This banter back and forth because we're trying to figure out, because you say, I got to start in reverse.
Yeah, because you can't give up the headline first. Listen, because you don't want the Isley brothers to call and Monique us now.
Man, come on. That's another topic, Greg.
Hey, you don't want them to call and Monique us now.
How many weeks have we been saying we're going to have a conversation about that and we haven't gotten to it yet?
It's only been 2 weeks. It seems like it's been a long time, but it's only been 2 weeks since all of that took place. Okay,
so with all of this conversation we're having, Greg, because, we're going to shift gears a little bit because we got to bring Miss Nicole in first, but that's letting everybody know that they need to get close to their phones because this evening we're going to be giving away 2 pairs.
That's
but
right.
we got to tell everybody how we're going to do it tonight.
2 pairs of what now?
2 pairs of,
2 pairs of what now? You got to be specific.
2
this
pairs
is radio
of tickets for this heart and soul.
There you go.
Is the little grasshopper in there doing a little something?
He's trying to do something.
He don't know about this music. Hey, that's great.
Hey,
Heart and soul.
Just a little taste of what you all are going to be hearing in Apopka, Florida on October 8, 2022. Our good friend Paul P.A. Billings is going to be bringing some great acts. You got Cut Close, you have Confunction, you have Leela James, you have Howard Hughes, and none other than Mr. Big with the Osley Brothers.
Well, that is strong, man. That is strong. And you know what? Oh, come on now.
Yeah, there you
hey,
go. Listen, everybody stop.
Hey, Sensei, that little grasshopper, this was before he was born, man. He don't know nothing about this. Greg, do that grasshopper know about this?
He don't know nothing about that. He gonna go home tonight and try to play it, though. Look at it. He get some ideas.
I ride to this every day.
Oh, you ride to that every day. Hey, I think he be sampling it. That's what I think.
But yeah, now once again, so if you want to be the procurer of a pair of tickets to the Heart and Soul Festival in Apopka, Florida on October 8th, 2022, just be on the listen out. We're going to give you instructions on how to get yourself a pair of tickets. And a pair means two, Brother Love. So that means that you're going to get one for yourself and one for somebody special.
Well, then that means we're going to give away two.
Trial.
Wait, what's that? What's that? What are we listening to? Hey, but Greg, what is your baddest confunction?
Trial.
The baddest confunction jam.
You know, man, listen, man, all of them bad to me. I can't just put my finger on this one. Now, if you said the Osley Brothers, then what I'll be telling you right now is that my favorite Osley Brothers song, and I'm going to have to explain this to you all, my favorite Osley Brothers song is Atlantis.
Okay.
The reason why.
Why?
Now, the first time I heard that song and really paid attention to it, I had just gone to Atlanta, Georgia for the first time from the highest of Seven Hills at Florida A&M University. We used to travel up there and do some things when I was at FAMU. And I liked the city and I appreciated the city so much that as we were driving back, I hear this song, Atlantis, come back. And I'm thinking they're saying Atlanta, come back to me.
Yeah.
And so that is like my favorite Osley Brothers song because it reminds me of the first time that I really went to Atlanta and had a good time and hung out. Why Doc Polite laughing at me, man? Why Doc Polite laughing at me?
Hey, y'all about to make me pull some yak over here.
Listen to you.
Oh.
You know, hey, y'all know this my music. So I have flashbacks and all kinds.
You can talk over the music, Doc. They know how it go. You can talk over the music.
Listen, that takes me all the way back to that's why I got into music. That album right there, that song right there.
Listen, that song has some special meaning for a lot of people.
For a lot of people.
So
it does. It takes me back to 1973. The Osley Brothers 3+3. And they have charted in every decade, y'all, since 1955. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
They have charted platinum in every decade.
Hey, man. Hey, I know something else that y'all talking around that I'm going to just go ahead and say. But, boy, it was a lot of babies born doing that.
I don't want to say it.
I
don't want to say it, but listen, you're right, Brother Love. You're right. But listen, let's do this, man, because we know that a lot of folks are sitting at the edge of their seats anxious to figure out how they're going to get their hands on a pair of tickets. We're going to give out that first pair of tickets. All you have to do, Brother Love, all you have to do is dial 407-894-1680 and be caller number 3.
Okay.
So caller number 3, 407-894-1680. You're going to win yourself a pair of tickets to the Heart and Soul Festival to be on October 8th, 2022. So it's not going to be too hot out there. No excuses.
That's it.
No excuses.
Hey, and in the most beautiful city in Orange County.
Yeah, listen, Apopka, Florida. That's the Aussies too? Okay. But listen, while we wait on those calls to come in, Brother Love, we got to take folks to one of our staples.
That's it.
One of the hardest working individuals that is a part of Let's Talk Nation. This is none other than the Secretary of State, the talented, the incomparable, the intelligent, one and only Miss Nicole Knowles.
Dynamic Duo, what is going on tonight?
What's up, Miss Nicole? How you doing this evening?
I'm good. Hey, I gotta say, if we're gonna be handing out, these free tickets, I should start throwing in some quiz questions.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
A little fun with this. And I gotta tell you, the General and I will be ready with our cameras.
There you go. I like. Hey, listen, I'm picking up 2 new lenses just for this event, so I'm going to be ready.
You're going to be doing some film, though, right? Not just digital.
Now, listen, I'm just doing still photographs. I'm going to let you do some of the film.
All right.
And you know what, Greg? Before Nicole goes, we also are still waiting on whatever the media that wants to get those exclusive press passes. So, you know, you got to call us at the station to get them, of course.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Mr. Cole, what do you know?
Well, we got some anxious people that want tickets, so I'm going to go through. So, you guys mentioned it already. Juneteenth. You know, there was a lot of, you know, some people were wondering what that meant, and so basically, what is it? Why do we celebrate it? Well, it's not really a new thing. It's newly established, but it's not. It's definitely a very, very important part of history. So, according to history, .com, Juneteenth, also known as, June 19th, commemorates the effective end of slavery in the United States. Specifically, on this day, back in 1865, the federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to take control of the state and ensure that all of those who had been enslaved were free. The arrival had occurred 2.5 years following the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation by President Abraham Lincoln, that was signed on January 1st, 1863. Well, the intent of the proclamation was to establish that all those who had been enslaved in the Confederate States that were in rebellion against the Union during that time, and in the nation, to be set free. It did not, however, didn't immediately go into effect. Not everyone was set free at the time. It was still being implemented, and some weren't even implementing it at the time, and they were supposed to. After the war ended in spring of 1865, the month of June signaled freedom for 250,000 people who had been enslaved in Texas. That December, slavery in the United States was formally abolished with the adoption of the 13th Amendment. So very, 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 the month of June is extremely, extremely important part of history. Although it is considered to be the longest running African American holiday, Juneteenth did not officially become a federal holiday until last year on June 17th in 2021. So that was very, very interesting, but it's always been a part of history. So now it's official. And that's your Nicole knows. And then just for our listeners out there, if you're not calling in for tickets or you want to add this in when you're calling in for your tickets, did you take some time to kind of remember and celebrate Juneteenth this weekend? Definitely call in and let us know, tell us how you celebrated or remembered that time. Back to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nicole.
Great information as
Great
always.
Job. Great. I was talking to Doc Politeman, and he was telling me, about one of the Juneteenth celebrations that took place. I believe it was in Sanford, Florida. It is great to see that this day is actually being recognized. But Greg, just think about the emancipation took place and black folk in around the country.
In the western states, they didn't know. They just didn't know.
And so you still had slavery in actuality taking place
during the time period when slavery had actually been abolished. But here's the interesting thing, Brother Love, and I want folks to really and truly appreciate what technology has brought us in less than 150 years. It took them 2 years to find out about this bill that has been passed. Right now, anything that happens in Congress, we can go on C-SPAN, we can go on the news, and we can watch everything that's taking place in the hallowed halls of Congress. And so, I mean, this is a great time that we live in, the information age and things of that nature, man.
I mean, and we're getting that information, man, instantly.
So listen, Brother Love, we put the challenge out there. We said that the third caller into the show would be the winner of some tickets, and it appears that we have someone that wants to talk to us. Calling on live with Brother Love and Greg Jackson. Let's talk about it. How you doing this evening?
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. And who are we talking to?
Miss Vicky.
Miss Vicky, guess what? You are caller number 3, and you are the winner of a pair of tickets to the Heart and Soul Festival in Apopka, Florida.
Congratulations. Hey, so tell us, which artist is the one that you're most looking forward to hearing and seeing?
Isley Brothers.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. So not to give away your age, Miss Vicky, but are you one of the individuals that were listening to the Isley Brothers when they started putting music out, or were you listening to it just kind of in retrospect after they'd been out?
No, I was listening to it when they was putting it out.
Okay, so you're really going to enjoy this concert.
Yes,
then.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, any thoughts, any feelings on our friend Howard Hughes?
Say that again.
Any thoughts on Howard Hughes? He's going to be there also.
I will be there.
That's it. Enough said.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what. Here's something that you can do for Let's Talk Nation, but really more so doing this so that concerts like this can continue to come to Central Florida, in particular, a place that Greg and I call home, and that is the city of Apopka. But here's something that you can do. While you just won yourself a pair of general admission tickets, tell your friends and your family to go to heartandsoul.com and go purchase some tickets so they can go with you.
Okay. I don't know who I would take other than my sister, Donna.
But hey, tell that family and friends. Sure, I'm sure they love the Isley Brothers. And come on now, when Confunction gets up there, it ain't nothing else you can do.
Oh, my God. You talking about Confunction?
Yes, ma'am, indeed.
Hey, that's an old school.
So yeah, but listen, that's what it's about. Music nowadays is kind of taking a slip and a turn, if you ask me, Brother Love. And I like this lineup that's coming because this is what real music is about, man.
And once again, and Greg, you and I, we've been talking about this individual. Man, we can't thank Paul Billings enough for bringing shows like this to Central Florida. Once again, we're going to continue to encourage the Hotel and Lodging Association to connect with this event. But, hey, great, we got this coming into our backyard.
Absolutely. So thank you again, Miss Vicky, and make sure that Brother Armando has your information, and you will be getting those tickets, and we will see you on October 8th.
So hold the line. Armando, make sure you get contact. You already got the contact information? Well, Miss Vicky, we appreciate you.
So, Brother Love, let's get to another topic, man. Tomorrow, we talked about this past weekend in Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah.
But tomorrow is this might be a trivia question for some tickets.
Well, but I also see the underlining, that who cares deal.
Yeah.
So let's see who cares.
All right. So listen, if anyone can call in and tell us the significance of tomorrow, that's June 21st. 2022. If you could call in, and you could be caller number 1, 2, 3, whichever one calls in and can tell us the significance of tomorrow first, you're going to be the winner of the next pair of tickets to the Heart and Soul Festival in Apopka, Florida on October 8th.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. I didn't see that one coming. That's a good one.
I didn't see it coming either until Mr. Nicole put the idea in our head. So,
hey, Greg, man, you saw the bicyclist who had a nasty turn this weekend. What do you know about that, man?
I'm sorry.
What do you know about that, man?
Every time I see it, every time I think about it. Listen, I don't know if anyone saw, but this past weekend, our president, listen, I'm not like people who didn't like Donald Trump. Oh, that's it. He's our president, whether I like Joe Biden or not. But our president, someone had the bright idea to put this elderly old man on a bicycle. And while he was riding, and he wasn't even riding, he had stopped. And while he was stopped, he fell off his bicycle. And I shouldn't be laughing. Anytime you see somebody almost 80 years old.
See, hey, Mondo, I don't know why I went there. Cause
anytime you see somebody almost 80 years old fall, it's not funny. But for some reason, this is hilarious. And the other thing, too, Brother Armando, the other thing is that if you look at the video, and I know people are going to call, they're going to be mad at me. I don't care. When you look at the video, his wife is riding next to him. Her helmet is tilted to the side, and she almost running him off the path. The Secret Service almost got to run to pull her from knocking him off, and then he stopped. He fall off the bicycle.
It was not. I mean, the optics on it wasn't a good look. But Armando, it's my job to make sure I get my buddies back over there, and so I'm gonna fast forward to something that we've been trying to talk about for 2 and a half weeks.
Wait, Brother Armando, what you got on this, man?
Hey, man, Trump put on his social media page. That he sent a golf ball and it knocked him off the bike.
Hey, tell Trump to get off Twitter. Didn't he get enough of that already?
That's his new social media page.
Oh, the social.
8 million followers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Crazy.
All right. Well, listen. Yeah, well, he needs to stay off of social media for a little while.
Well, Greg, but to move on and talk about something that should be funny, but it's not funny, and then when you turn it back around, they're in the business of being funny, and I'm talking about none other than Monique, the feud between Monique and D.L. Hughley.
This thing was out of control from the beginning, and if you've been up under a rock and have not been keeping track of this, and the only reason why we're keeping track of it is because of how out of hand it got and how ridiculous it got. But Monique and D.L. Hughley were actually asked to be headliners at a comedy show in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And the promoters and the organizers of the program actually pulled the wool over both of their eyes.
Because they made both of them think they were.
Yeah, made both of them headliners. And so they sent Monique sent in her contract to be the headliner a day before D.L. Hughley sent in his deal memo, which a deal memo is a binding contract. Mm-hmm. I don't know why people say it's not. And so D.L. Hughley said that I will be the highest paid, I will be the headliner of this show, and I will have control of the lineup. And that was in his contract, and they agreed to it. And so Monique goes on stage, and she commences to not lambaste the organizers of the show, but she lambasts D.L. Hughley.
Yeah.
And not only did she go at him that night and attack him verbally and say all types of ridiculous things that, people shouldn't say about other people, whether you like them or not, but she continued it on to the following day, and then the following day. Then she brought up something about his daughter being a victim of sexual assault and blamed D.L. Hughley.
And then
for
talked
that.
about his wife as well.
Talked about his wife. She talked about the dog. She talked about the dog.
But just as recently, I think this past weekend, she hey. You hear some saying that, Chris Shaw?
Don't talk about the dog.
Don't talk about my dog.
Hey, talk about everybody else, but don't talk about your
Say
dog.
the dog ain't bothered nobody. Hey, that reminds me of you remember Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor went to see Miss Rudolph, and Miss Rudolph had a monkey, and the monkey kept messing with people's ears. And so it's like, Miss Rudolph, can you do something about the monkey? Miss Rudolph said, "You visiting the monkey live here." So hey, don't mess with the dog. Don't bother nobody.
Hey,
don't talk about the dog.
So wait, hold on. Let me get this right now, because you on air, Mr. Sensei. You said talk about the wife and the children, but don't talk about your dog.
Don't talk about the dog.
Say the wrong one to talk about is the wife and the kids, because the wife would take care of that on single hand.
She got that.
Hey, and then let's fast forward to this past weekend where Monique had a gig, right?
Yeah.
And she commenced to go forward, and she told the audience before she got started, she said, I did this publicly, so I'm going to do this apology publicly.
If you call it that.
And if you call it that.
If you call it
so she went and commenced to say, if I hurt his daughter's and his wife's feelings, that she apologized. And then she came right back around and she say, so I'm apologizing. But she say, hey, everything I said about that DLU, I meant that.
But listen, to his credit, he said, look, keep it about me and you.
Exactly.
Keep my family out of it, but keep it about me and you.
But Greg, come on. They're in the business of comedy, and she shows up and continues to air out her grievances. But then, did y'all see what her sister did just recently?
Yeah. Her sister basically said, you killed your career one time, you revived yourself, and now you're going back and doing the same thing. You're making yourself a victim when you're victimizing others.
Hey, but D.L. Hughley, he made a real good point. He says, hey, Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, they're opening up the door and they're letting it back in. And he said, hey, I thought I'd try to do the same thing that they did when he allowed her to be on the same show that he was on. And he says, man, I ain't got nobody else to blame but myself. But do you think somebody close to her, Greg, is actually...
No, because the person closest to her is her husband.
Who's the manager?
Who is... But listen, Monique is a strong, independent, African-American female. And I'm not saying this to be derogatory to strong African-American females. But if you know them the way that we know them, if they get something in their head, it doesn't matter what we say, you say, anybody says, they're going to take that line. And Monique feels like she's right, and she's following that line.
But Greg, here's the thing, and I mean, I agree with you. She's a strong black woman, but Greg, at some point or another, somebody's going to say, add up the dollar and cents. Look at what you're losing.
Well, but here's the thing, though. As long as she keeps winning lawsuits against Netflix,
but hey, Greg,
discriminatory practices, which big ups to her.
You the lawyer in here.
Big ups to her for taking on this big network for saying that they had discriminatory practices for negotiating with her differently than they negotiate with non-African American acts.
So Greg, and I mean, this is your wheelhouse. So I show deference to you. But the part of it that I saw is that, and I know this might just be language for, hey, we're gonna settle with you, but basically, she didn't win. This case supposedly has been dropped, and of course, more than likely a settlement.
That's every settlement agreement. Every
settlement
agreement that I enter into has the same. We do not admit any liability. Their risk of
NDA.
This, and yeah.
So is that the same reason we're not hearing anything about Will Smith slap?
No, that's because Chris Rock just hadn't taken action yet.
You don't think so?
I don't think he's
so?
taken action yet. No, I think Chris Rock is gonna put it on Will Smith. I think he's gonna listen.
Right. The smartest thing that he could do is have them negotiating right now and having an NDA to where nobody can ever talk about it. That he can't even go on stage and talk about that.
Listen, I think that Chris Rock is a savvy, veteran performer. He's been around the block. He's a New Yorker. I know Will Smith is from Philadelphia, but New Yorkers are a different breed. And I think Will Smith. I mean, I think that Chris Rocker has something cooking for you.
You let Shaq be the last person to talk, or Shannon Sharp, and I'm trying to think of who else. But everybody,
one other one.
Who was it?
There was one other. I can't think of who it was.
But they're estimating that slap at about $200 million.
Maybe. And a couple movie deals.
And a couple of movie deals.
From his production company for free.
Greg, here's something, man, that we must talk about. And I don't know if Doc has this queued up. And matter of fact, me, you, and Doc, I think even Armando was in the queue on this thing where no, you're the one that sent it to us saying, hey man, is this what we've come to?
Oh yeah.
So Greg, I want Doc if he has it queued up,
new
man.
Generation, man.
And so what we were saying, is this woke or is this weak? And then, we got Doc who is in that area of mental health. So I don't want to dismiss that. But Greg, a problem with it all the way through. Doc.
Y'all, I've had a series of fucking panic attacks at work today. Like, we are not supposed to live like this, y'all. Like, I'm on lunch and I don't want to go back in, y'all. We shouldn't have to struggle so hard and then struggle to operate, struggle to function as a person trying to make it. Like, what, y'all? And I don't have a solution. Like, I don't know, y'all. This ain't it, y'all. This ain't it. I did not picture life being this bullshit, y'all.
Hey, so Doc, come on, man. I mean, I saw that, and Greg, you started a heck of a conversation, man.
Yeah, apparently, adulting is hard for some people.
But Greg, the other
adulting is difficult for some
Greg,
people.
the other thing we were always taught, man, if you don't like the position that you're in life, man, you work hard to change that.
Yeah, but Doc, when you saw that, man, what went through your head on that one?
First of all, I wanted to throw something at my screen because this is and I'm not disparaging younger people. I want y'all to understand that because for much of my career, I've worked with people between the ages of 40 and probably about 12 on a wide range of development levels. But there seems to be this universal thing of blame mama, blame daddy. I have no control over my life, and where I am is not a result of my choices, actions, or decisions. And this young man seems to be echoing that. And what really struck me was the fact that he felt that he was stuck there. I don't know a job that I ever had that that I didn't feel I could leave. You understand what I'm saying? And
Doc, you and I had this conversation, man. And do you step back? What kind of advice would you give this young man?
The first thing what I would try to do is get him to recognize how much authority and control he has over his own choices and his decisions. Because apparently somewhere in his life, he has been taught that he's not responsible for his actions. And in saying that, he seems disconnected between where he is and what he chose. He applied for that job, okay? He decides to go get up every day and go to that job. Week after week, I guess year after year. And if it's not meeting the needs that you think you need or getting you where you want to be in life, why are you there?
Okay. And Doc, real good point. And Greg, here's what I'm going to do with you and Doc. Kind of rapid fire. You're a life coach. What do you tell this young man? Because it is what it is right now for where he's at. What would you have to say to this guy to help him either change his disposition? Tell you the truth. That is all I'm asking you. You're the life coach. What do you say to this guy?
Listen, man, I'm the wrong person to talk to about that.
Okay.
I'm the very wrong person to talk to that because I just tell them to suck it up. I mean, when I think about the things that the generations before us went through.
That's a good life coach recommendation.
And this guy's sitting here whining and crying about being on a job.
Yeah.
Why are you sitting up here crying about going to work and doing what grown people are supposed to do? When you think about the African Americans, the black folks that came up in the 1800s, the 1900s, the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, up to the 70s, and the struggles that they had to go through. They couldn't even vote until the early 1900s, the 21st century, without being persecuted.
Right.
And you sit up there crying about a job. You better get yourself together.
So Greg, ain't nothing wrong with that doggone life coach recommendation.
But then what happened is he'll come back to work the next day with a pistol and probably shoot me.
Well, see, man.
I mean, that's the problem with
Hey.
with telling people nowadays what really should be said.
Man,
that's
you know what? I can
that's
argue with
the
you on that.
result
Doc,
of
what you
the
say?
Participation trophy
Yeah,
model.
yeah.
It's the result of that. Everybody gets a trophy. You're on the team, you get MVP, but you sat on the bench.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You came into work today and you got here early. Oh, you got to work on time. That's what you're supposed to do.
But see, I think
You're not supposed to get no kudos for doing what you're supposed to
you
do.
know, but that's why, and Greg, you and I know Doc do it as well. I mean, when you go in, man, and you're talking to young people, you don't go in and say you got a car, you get a car, you get a car.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
like this is very
You got to work.
competitive. You got to work for
But
it.
here's the other thing too. And my wife would tell you. If you were to call in right now, she'll tell you. I don't even let my wife tell me thank you for the things that I'm supposed to do. Don't tell me thank you for paying the mortgage.
There you go.
Don't tell
There
me
you go.
thank you for going out buying groceries. Don't tell me thank you for keeping this house safe. Don't tell me thank you for locking the door. Don't tell me thank you because you feel safe when you go to bed at night, because that's what I'm supposed to do.
You know what? I got that lesson, Greg. Third grade from Roosevelt Love. You used to go to St. Petersburg every summer and work at my granddaddy gas stations.
Okay.
And went in the gas station, man, and I started sweeping up that dirt, the oil that was on the thing.
You held
and,
your hand out.
I
Where my
ran
money
with
at?
my granddaddy, and I say, "Look at what I did." And you know what he told me?
Keep doing. Keep going.
Yeah,
You
he
ain't
said-
finished.
He said, "That's what you're supposed to do."
Yeah, you ain't finished.
Hey, and then of course, I could tell them stories when some of my friends growing up was privileged enough to get allowances, and I went to my mom. I say, "Hey, when we gonna start getting allowance?" She say, "You eat every day here, right?" I say, "Yes, ma'am."
That's your allowance.
Hey, you're not sleeping outside, are you? Yeah. And then I said, "Okay, you right." I said, "But what about them whoopings you be giving me?" She said, I probably missed some of them, so you better be lucky."
You work for those. You deserve the whippings now.
But Greg, you're absolutely right. So Doc, kind of rapid fire. Greg gave his life coach recommendation. In a nutshell, what would you say to this man?
I just go find him and move him to Florida, and we find one of them Orange Grove trucks.
Oh, tobacco fields. Hey, remember them old tobacco fields, Doc?
Because see, that's what I did at 12 and 11, 12, and 13. When I wanted some extra money, I cut grass. Okay, I hauled stuff. I picked watermelons and I picked oranges. Wasn't no allowance. They allowed me to be under the roof. That was as far as the allowance went. And I got my first paycheck job at 15 at Dairy Queen on Pine Hills Road. And I haven't stopped working. I didn't stop working until I retired.
Hey man, dealing with you cats though, y'all make this Let's Talk Nation a 24/7 job, because Greg be sending out information, you send out information, Greg stuff make us all start responding back to the text. Man, hey, this Let's Talk Nation is 24/7.
Yeah, but we got to think about, how does this impact the collective? This mindset is pervasive among that age group, and it impacts not only them, but the children they have.
Yep.
Could you imagine your dad talking like this? What does that mean?
It
Yeah.
definitely impacts your
What
trajectory,
can you
man.
teach me if you're a weak-minded, or you feel someone owes you something? You're going to teach me that same principle. And so for my life, I'm now dysfunctional in that area, and I won't be able to recognize that I'm rewarded for my efforts, not for doing the things I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, but dude was literally sitting outside in his car
Crying.
on a lunch break. Now, I want y'all to really and truly think about this. In these third world countries, you have people that don't even have a car to sit in during lunch to cry. And then the cry. Now I got about to laugh.
Sitting in air conditioning.
I mean, he obviously had a cell phone, because he's on live, putting his whole life in the public sphere. I mean, it's absolutely. I don't understand where this world is coming from, but thankfully, there are still some young people out there who do not have this mindset of free, gimme, gimme.
You're right. Or just the give it up
Yeah.
type deal.
Yeah.
But all right. Hey, man, you know what? Greg, you got something over there for us, man?
So listen, Brother Love, we have a long-time listener that we haven't heard from in a few minutes or so. None other than the infamous Brother Dexter. Brother Dexter, how you doing this evening?
Hey, all is well. How y'all doing up in there?
Not too bad, man. You've been missing in action for a while.
Yeah, I know, man. Be busy a lot. I still be trying to catch y'all when I can.
But listen, man, we appreciate it. What you got on your mind tonight?
Hey, I was thinking about, when y'all were mentioning work, and what's going on, with this. I think it's a different dynamic in how work pays off and what to look forward to, at the end of all your hard labor.
Mm-hmm.
Now we ain't nothing stable now. When I was coming up, man, you could pick oranges, even or work on the farm or in the nursery and support your family, raise a family with the help of, affordable housing as such. But with things are going now and how there's not going to be much or probably any affordable housing anymore, then and with how things are unstable now, how can you ever build and get established when the economy's always crashing, and things get shut down? How you going to ever get established and be able to reap the harvest and reap a fruitful retirements and stuff? How can you do these things in an economy that's fluctuating like it is? That's totally unstable, and everything is unstable.
Brother Dexter, that's a good question. But listen, the other part of it too is there's a lot of people out there that's doing it. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that even in down economies, even during points when it seems like things are not going exactly the way that you want them to, it's people that are still prospering. And so the thing that I think people should really do is, look to those people who are able to prosper during these times. And I'm not even talking about entertainers or rappers or football players. I'm talking about their business owners right now that are still able to make things happen.
Let me say this right quick. It's not so much as prospering. Some things look like they are prospering. That's what, and it gives the appearance of prospering, but you're really just going into debt. Getting trapped into debt. That you're never going to be able to come out of. So that's really not prospering.
But that's not everybody though. That's not everybody. And as long as they ain't on Instagram crying, I don't care.
Well, Brother Dexter, let me say this, and Doc, I know that you're, and Mondo, what your job is when somebody talking over the host, you got to hit that mute button. Brother Dexter, I appreciate you, but you know what? I understand because it is. I mean, when you look at the economy and you look at all those things, man, times have gotten tougher, and we do know and understand housing and everything else. But here's something that I'll say to you, Brother Dexter, and anybody else who's listening. Yeah, man, it is tougher than we have seen in a very long time, but you're not going to get ahead if you don't continue to put your ears back, man, and continue to work hard. I hear everything you're saying, Dexter, but, man, I tell you, we got to continue to put our ears back, be innovative, and, man, there are fruits that come from the labor of hard work.
And listen, and it's not that I necessarily disagree with Brother Dexter. It's not that I disagree, but I think that there is another way to approach this other than this despair talk. Because if you find yourself thinking only despair, then that's what you're going to put yourself into.
You're right.
What you got, Doc?
Listen, when has it ever been fair and balanced for African Americans? I'm just being real.
Yeah,
okay?
no, listen, you said something there. Yeah, you said something.
I have a grandmother that raised 5 kids, sent all 5 to college, okay, from the 1950s on to the 1970s. Worked as a domestic, had a 5th grade education, bought her own house, and did all of those things. In an economy where she made, where the minimum wage at that time was probably less than $2. So the willing find a way, the motivated find a way. See, if all you can do is look at your circumstances and feel that you can never overcome it, you'll never overcome it.
You'll never overcome it. Greg.
None of us was born with a silver spoon.
True.
Okay.
But did you say amen, Armando?
Hey, thank y'all for the good leadership. Y'all see me out here taking chances every day.
Listen, that's what it takes.
Exactly. Exactly. And what does Armando do? He called one of us. And
Yeah.
I see him constantly reaching out for resources and information to better himself.
Yeah, that's right.
That's his job.
But you know
It's
what,
not
man?
our job to make him better.
You know, at the end of the day, if you don't try, you're gonna get just what you
But
got.
listen, this is what I have to say too, though. Thank goodness again, Brother Love, that the black folks from times past did not have that defeatist attitude.
You're right. You're right.
The black folks from the 1900s, from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, when the the Voters' Rights Act was finally passed in the 60s. Thank goodness they didn't have this defeatist attitude. They have more. Listen, it's sad to say that in 1920, 1930, African Americans owned more businesses, banks, land than what they do right now, and they had less opportunities than what we have right now. We didn't have that defeatist attitude.
So Greg, let me ask you this, because there's two other things that, man, I want to get in before we conclude tonight.
Yeah.
From a strategy standpoint, I mean, we're actually sitting up here continuously talking about encouraging people to go vote. We're encouraging folk to look at how do you build wealth, economic development, and things of that nature. But Greg, one of the things, man, that caught our particular attention when we see folk talk about certain districts need to be districts with color representation. Hey, Doc, if you would cue us up, and we're specifically talking about Congressional District 10.
Yeah.
Cue us up with the new unfolding events that took place last week, I think it was, the new announcement of a candidate.
Thursday or Friday.
Was it Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
And with this, we want the listening audience for you to become more educated and you make the decision. But Doc, if you would, cue that up for us, please.
Corrine Brown was never one to hold back on her feelings and what she believes is actually happening. But I wanted to know why she's running for office in Orlando and not here where she lives.
Okay, Greg, that was a good question. That was an excellent question.
Here's a better question I have, Brother Love. And if anyone has ever heard me, I have been consistent on this. And if I haven't been, call me on it. But my thing is, why are individuals who are in their twilight years, who should be more concerned about spending time with their grandchildren, with enjoying themselves after a job well done, and just relax,
and
why
allowing
are they
for
still
innovation
wanting to run for office? Let some of these younger minds get in there with the new ideas to help move this country forward.
Allowing for innovation. But before we run this second clip, Greg, I'm not a mathematician, and I don't think you have to be one to look up the numbers. You got approximately, and I'm thinking about 5 people of color running for this district.
So, I mean, if you're talking about District 10, you're talking about Terrence Gray.
Correct.
You're talking about Natalie Jackson. You're talking about Randolph Bracey. And now you're talking about Corrine Brown.
And this is another guy that, man, he's fundraising like crazy. So you got about 5 people in there, right? Okay, so here's where I want to go with you before Doc plays this other piece. You have an individual who's, self-made millionaire. He makes his announcement approximately 2 weeks ago, and I'm talking about Alan Grayson.
Former Congressman Alan Grayson.
Yeah. And so, Greg, when you do the math and you see that we got 5 individuals of color that's running for the same seat, they're going to pull votes away from one another.
That is correct.
So with that, I'm looking at the mathematical, and I could be wrong because, Greg, you understand the politics far better than me. But to me, this appears to allow Mr. Grayson to walk right in the middle. So without any further ado, Doc, if you would play the response to the question as to why are you not running where you live, can you play that, Doc?
You're not even going to end up with a Democratic person. You have been gerrymandered. We have had a Democratic seat in Duval County for 74 years. And when you look at how Duval has been gerrymandered, now you can't even get a moderate Republican. You're going to get a right-wing nut.
Okay, on that note, and again, let me qualify this before we open this up for some conversation, Greg. Let's talk nation. Greg and I, we're not here to vilify any individual. But Greg, when I saw that, I come back full circle again. Man, there's plenty of room for innovation. And I'll go ahead and, we know quite a few of the individuals that are running in that seat. The Let's Talk Nation audience and any and everybody else need to actually just look and listen to that call and response. It don't make sense to me, Greg.
Listen, the fact of the matter is, and I'm going to stick to my guns on this one. I believe that Corrine Brown, served the district well. She did meet some challenges, and some other things took place. She was recently released from prison for some mishaps with her nonprofit, but because there was a juror who they felt, because he said that God led him to make his decision, and so they opted not to bring the case back up, so she has had some challenges. But that aside, she's already served. She's already done all that she can for the district. I think that now is the time to allow new minds, new ideas, new thoughts, who actually understand this area and live in this area. Day to day, who touch the residents in this area, not when they come in to visit, but because they're going home or because they're in the grocery store or because they're serving their congregation. I think that our area is better served by someone who actually lives here.
And Greg, I agree with you 100%, but then I'm listening and I'm watching that conversation and that response. And, just a discussion about a gerrymandered district.
Well, the courts have already spoken on that.
Yeah,
the courts have already spoken on that.
And so once again, we have individuals that live in this community, man, that we see that are responsive to the needs of the community, and that just didn't sit well, man.
Yeah. So listen, best of luck to all of the candidates, but if we're going to look out for the best interests of our community, you have to have someone who lives in and understands our community. That's of tantamount importance. That's why the mayor of Orlando needs to live in Orlando. That's why the mayor of Orange County needs to actually live in Orange County, and in much the same way. And I understand that Congress is a little bit different. It is a little bit different where individuals can run in areas where they don't live, but then they can get into the areas once they have won that seat. So it is a little bit different. But I think that to best serve your community, you have to be of that community.
And just leaving it on this note, Greg, I think, man, if we look at making more logical decisions instead of these emotional decisions, I think we'll fare a whole lot better.
I hope so anyways.
So Greg, we put that out there. Greg, moving on, because we talk about all politics are local anyway.
Yeah.
The Orange County Commission District 2 seat just had a new individual. I can't remember the individual's name.
Yeah, I thought I heard that somebody else was getting in that race. But yeah, I don't know who he is. He must have paid his qualifying fee instead of doing and getting out doing the hard work. Sandra Fatme Hall, who was running for Orange County District 2, she actually qualified, with petitions, which means that she got out, knocked on doors, actually met with individuals who live in the area because she's from the area, she's of the area, and she was able to qualify through petitions. She could have easily written the check for whatever it is to be on the ballot, but she did the hard work, the leg work. That's important in order to get people's trust to write their name down to say, we want her to run for this seat, or we're okay with her running for this seat. But in the same respect, Brother Love, there is supposed to be a forum for that Orange County District 2 race, and I think it's kind of interesting because I haven't heard a lot about any forums, even in the second largest municipality in Orange County, which is Apopka, Florida, for a forum to get to know these candidates. And I think that there needs to be some effort to get to know these candidates because it's about 60 days left before this election.
And you're absolutely right. Greg, a couple of quick things. The name of the individual who has entered the race, Chris Delgado.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that name.
Chris Delgado.
He ran for something else.
I'm not familiar.
He ran for something else.
But Greg, here's the other thing that I think from a Let's Talk Nation perspective, yeah, it's great that a forum is going to be taking place, but man, we want to invite Commissioner Christine Moore on Let's Talk Nation.
Absolutely.
In particular, I would like to know more about this letter that went out to the Wekiva residents, man. And also we opened up the forum to candidate Ms. Sandra Fatme Hall to come on the show as well. But Greg,
and
there's
heck, even Mr. Delgado.
And Mr. Delgado. But Greg, there was a letter, man, that went out to the residents of Wekiva that I'm hearing a great deal about. Got to get my hands on this thing because I think it's critically important that we provide a forum for these candidates for these representatives that want to represent District 2, which is all encompassing of, man, you know, Pine Hills, you got Lockhart,
Rosemont, Ocoee.
Yeah. I want to hear more
Winter
from
Garden.
them. I want to hear more from them.
Parts of it, yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, listen, if you want to get your hands on the letter, don't look any further than me because I actually have the letter.
Great.
Because some kind of way, I actually am considered a part of the Wekiva area, apparently. Commissioner Christine Moore sent me a nice letter letting me know how hard she was going to work for my community.
And Greg, that's what
awesome for us because she's going to pay all the attention to us. So thank you.
So, Greg, I mean, 8 minutes left, and, man, you know I got to, because I have been, let's just say, told and made aware that this letter specifically talks about, you know, representing District 2, which, you know, is all of those communities, but, you know, basically saying, hey, here's what I've done for a community that I live in. And so that is what I want to hear more about, Greg, because, you know, my representatives should be representing everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, if there's, you know, some additional resources going in your community because you live there, Greg, but you represent the entire district, I got a problem with that.
I mean, but listen, I'm not so selfish. I mean, and you know, just kind of tongue-in-cheek, you know, she's going to pay attention to my area, thank you, and all this other stuff. But all jokes aside, I do want someone to represent the area that's thinking about all areas and all peoples in the community because a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah.
And so if you have someone who is not focusing on the least of us as well as the most of us, something is going to go missing.
But that's why, Greg, we want to give an opportunity because here's the other thing, too, is, man, I haven't heard anybody authenticate this letter yet either, or at least I haven't heard her. So what I do want to hear, Greg, is a candidate coming on to making sure that those folk who want information about them know that they're going to be equally represented as well.
Well, listen, in years past, we've actually invited candidates to come and speak to us, and so I think that, you know, this is just as good a time as any to send out a formal invite to the candidates, specifically in District 2, as well as the candidates for the congressional race in this area, and ask them if they would like to sit down and talk to the listeners about what they plan to do in a position of service. Because it's a service position.
Do you think people know and realize that we're tough-skinned? Greg, do you realize that, and let me give a big shout-out to Onyx Magazine for allowing us the opportunity, but, man, we had a fantastic time in moderating the City of Orlando District 5 race, man. I mean, and when you talk about just making sure that you manage it and be objective in managing that thing, man, got to give a shout out to Onyx Magazine once again, and also recognize City Commissioner Regina Hill.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, that's how you get the word out. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to educate the voters in that area about each of the candidates. And so that's what they did. They brought in the candidates. They allowed them to have a very candid conversation. It got individuals.
Got a little hot.
It got very interesting, but it got individuals the information that they needed in order to make the decisions that they wanted to make. But Brother Love, right now we have a caller on the line. Caller on live with Brother Love and Greg Jackson. Let's talk about it. How you doing this evening? Hey, caller, how you doing this evening?
Good. Can you hear me?
Sure can. Who are we talking to?
Okay. This is Sharon.
Hey, Miss Sharon. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Before you guys hang up, I just wanted to call and let you know that I have been listening to your show, and as a voter, I have been enlightened, enriched, and a little bit smarter. And I say that because I'm a Republican, and evidently some Republican candidates from Seminole County, my area, went to the elections or whoever, got our emails, and they sent out little emails, hey, I'm running for this position, blah, blah, blah. And normally I just junk mail it, and I emailed them back. And I said, I'm glad that you got my email, but I don't know you. You want my vote. I need to get to know you. I need to know
That's what I'm talking about.
you are thinking and what can you do for me and my community and my neighborhood and my people. So I want to know that. Well, one of them has been going back and forth with me, you should get to know us. I said, exactly. So when can we meet? When can we have a conversation? So we're in the process of trying to correlate. She said she would meet me this Thursday, but I have to go out of town with my grandson for his track meet. But I told her next week I am available because I want to know what's on her mind and what she's going to do.
Ms. Sharon, don't want to cut you off, but you know what? If you would, and I got to wrap this up, if you would, please call back in and let us know if that meeting ever takes place. And just,
I will.
Give Let's Talk Nations some education about that meeting. But Ms. Sharon, thank you for dialing in, and we look forward to hearing back from you.
And listen, we appreciate you for taking that next step and holding these individuals who want your vote accountable. A right to vote is not someone's right to your vote, and you've taken that to the next level. Thank you, Ms. Sharon.
Thank you, guys.
All right, now, Brother Love, I'm going to do something to you that I normally don't do because we only got 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
I'm about to bring in a caller.
Go ahead.
Caller, you're on live with Brother Love and Greg Jackson. Let's talk about it. How you doing this evening?
Hey there.
How you doing, caller?
Oh my gosh. Hey, just been listening to your talking about getting to meet the candidates. Just so you know, I'm president of the Tiger Bay of Central Florida, and we're doing a forum on Wednesday at lunch at the Citrus Club, and we'll have the candidates from District 2, 4, and 6. We'll be interviewing them, asking some tough questions. So. Love to have you guys involved if it's possible. I know we got West TV is going to be a part of that. I think they're going to bring the moderator for us, but you're right. We got to get out there. We got to get folks at least be able to meet folks. The candidates that are running for these different offices, and I think that in July, I can't remember the date. A popular area Chamber of Commerce is going to have a forum or a hobnob, which you'll have the county commissioners, District 2, as well as, I would guess, District 11 or District 10, Congressional District 10, as well as the city council folks will be there in attendance.
Outstanding. Now, what about the state representatives? Are they going to be there as well? Because we have that race coming up too.
Yeah, they'll be there. And we're going to do our Tiger Bay Club's going to do one in July. We're going to do the state house and state senate ones where the primary races.
We need to get that information.
Outstanding. Listen, Mayor Nelson, definitely get us that information so we can keep folks updated. Absolutely. Yeah, and what time Wednesday is the lunch or the forum on Wednesday?
11:30 at Citrus Club, 11:30 to 1.
Mr. Mayor, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate how active and involved you staying in the community as well.
And we especially appreciate you listening to Let's Talk Nation.
Absolutely.
You guys are the best.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Greg, man, that's what it's all about. And you know what? We get down to 8 minutes, and then we get the traffic. But, Greg, my brother, we got to come back next Monday, but I may be on somewhat of a special assignment. All so I don't know. I meant to ask you, man, who's going to be your guest host, but I guess, you'll let everybody know that later. Hey, brother, Greg, you do not have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
Until next Monday on Let's Talk Nation, hey, dial in and learn something new. Make that IQ go up. We'll see you next week.